Africa Content TV.
His Imperial Majesty, the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba'S, the first. His Excellency and His Imperial Majesty, the Olubadan of Ibadan land, the first. His Imperial Majesty, the Seyi of Ogbomoso, Oba'S, ably represented by High Chief Kasali Oladipo Yusuf. Ẹjọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin orí adé ọrùn lẹ̀kẹ̀ mo kí yín o kábíyèsí o kádépẹ́ lórí kí bàtà pẹ́lẹ́sẹ̀. The Honorable Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Professor Musiba Babatunde, other Honorable Commissioners in the Cabinet of Oyo State Government here present, our service commanders, you're all duly recognized. The Chairman of Oyo State Elders Council, Dr. Saka Balogun, àti Co-Chairman, Elder Wole Oyelese, another distinguished members of the Council here present, distinguished members of the Oyo State Advisory Council here present, the Chairman of Local Government Areas in Oyo State, Honorable Sikiru Sonda. Another Chairman of Local Government Areas here present. Other political functionaries of Oyo State here present. Permanent secretaries, heads of non-ministerial departments and agencies. Distinguished leaders and members of PDP, heads of federal parastatals, captains of industries, professional bodies, prominent religious leaders, labor union leaders, Isoleto, market leaders, artisans and other groups here present, eminent personalities and invited guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I will, first of all, before I go into my main speech, I'll deal with some of the issues raised by the honorable members. Oyo Federal Constituency, most of the roads that Honorable Oyekola, they are all work in progress. Some of them contractors have mobilized in there, but I've taken proper notice and we will deal as appropriate. The majority leader, Sanjay, let me say this. I visited a company at Lagelu, very close to Yanofa. It's called Northlink Limited, owned by a retired Air Vice Marshal, Tunde Awoyola. I asked him, they only process for export. I asked him at the end of the visit, if there's one thing that I can do for you today, what would that be? Only I won't need enough cashew to process, maybe. So the market is there. What we need to do is productivity. So setting up another market, first I feel the supply tani, and they are for export. So they earn foreign exchange not only for your state but for Nigeria. So we will try and create the link between the market and the farmers. Ibadan-led city, Ibadan greater city, according to AKT, and Ibadan city. Skills Acquisition Center, Agbo shopping complex, infrastructure renewal. Those are the issues raised. And then currency. I don't know where the hold is, but the secondary school will be built in your constituency. And also somebody raised the issue of the chief's law. I'm glad that Baba Wambi and Uriade Orunleke, I signed the chief's law on the 14th of August 2025. So it's signed, it's a law, they just need to convene their meeting. And I'll be there. Okeogun 1, Okeogun 2, Ati Barakwa, the major issues raised, that of infrastructure and also security. Let me say that in Oyo State, we will not have a knee-jerk reaction to the issue of security. We have a security architecture that is robust enough for current and evolving threats. So we perceive as the next level of threat, and our security architecture in Oyo State is able to deal with it. The aircrafts, they are 2 brand new, not 3, they are 2. But they're brand new, and we'll get value out of them. And one thing that we will demonstrate to you when those aircraft finally arrive in Oyo State is that I will show you far away in Iwajowa. You will be here and you see the plate number of vehicles that are on the roads. That is the level of detail that we can have. Infrastructure. Some people, I don't mean to go on councillors one be. At the local government level, we gave them approval. Each local government should grade 30 kilometers of road, and they release the money from their JAC account. It's their money, it's your money. And I understand they've graded those 30 kilometers. We will set up another committee to go around now and verify. If they've done it, then we can go to the second phase, as you've asked for. Also, our infrastructure, because our resources are limited. I was getting a briefing from the Honorable Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning this morning before I came here. And he said on revenue, I think we're right around 70%. So you need to make money and then spend that money to service your budget. So our infrastructure is haunting our economy because our resources are limited. That is why you notice on Seyi Ikere Gorge Dam, because that's a tourist attraction. We're doing it. Okaka to Ibojaye, we're doing it. It's also a tourist attraction. Kunle Afolayan has invested a lot of money in the Cap village. So we have to use what we have to create more, to generate more, and then it can go around. And finally, some people say, well, local government, maybe they are not working, or get local governments to work with the states. I can assure everybody, even long after I've left the scene, the model Oyo State adopts is the final model that is solve problem local government administration in Nigeria. Our local government, and I have projects, I can give it to the press. As of today, they've executed or they've committed to about 203 billion worth of projects. And we've released over 155 billion. I can release the project. Go and look at it, whether they've been executed or not. Or you can come back and tell us. No, I'll release the press. You can take me up on it. There's nothing to hide. It's our money, is our commonwealth. AKT, ọ̀nà tó lọ láti ẹ̀rọ ọ̀nà ìgbà tí mo ń ṣe campaign káàkiri àgbà Igbó Eléri àgbà wọlé sí Ọlọ́ndàbá, and I promise them pé láti ojú rí ní àkóbọ̀ yẹn àáṣe ọ̀nà yẹn tá dé Ọlọ́ndàbá. But ṣùgbọ́n ìjẹ́ iṣẹ́ ẹ̀mẹ́ tó ṣe Lágelú local government ló ṣe kó ṣe Ọ̀yọ́ state government. Láti Ọlọ́runṣògo tó fi ń lọ sí Amúlòkó lọ sí Odiẹ̀dẹ́ junction ọ̀nà our local government ló ń ṣe lọ́wọ́. We have projects tó jẹ́ pé hybrid ni, like those aircrafts, state contribute, local government contribute. So it's a model that we think it has worked well in Oyo State, and in years to come, they will come and study it and adopt it at the federal level. Most of the other things, they are in my speech, and if I need to elaborate, I will elaborate. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members of the Oyo State House of Assembly, today I stand before you to present the penultimate budget proposal by our administration, which we have tagged the budget of economic expansion. Under our 2025 budget of economic stabilization, we consolidated on the economic gains from previous budgets. And so for 2026, it is only logical that we press on further growth of the Oyo State. Now position Oyo State for a production-led economy. Some of these are: 1, Africa Continental Free Trade Area initiatives. This will enable local producers to access the continent's integrated market. Oluyole Free Trade Zone. This is designed to attract manufacturing, assembly plants, and export-oriented industries. Special Agro-Processing Zones, SAPZ. This will transform primary agricultural outputs into higher value products and boost agro-industrialization. Dry port and logistics hubs. This is strengthening Oyo's competitiveness in trade and enhancing supply chain efficiency. Upgrading of the Samuel Ladoke Akintola Airport to international standard. This is positioning the state as a regional logistics and investment hub. The 110-kilometer Rashidi Ladoja Circular Road and its development corridor. This is strengthening regional connectivity and catalyzing economic growth by linking key transport and commercial hubs. This project represents a decisive policy shift toward industrial productivity, export competitiveness, and global market integration, justifying the theme of economic expansion. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members of the House, less than 2 weeks ago, we commissioned the now completed Ibadan Central Bus Terminals 1 and 2 at Iwo Road and New Ife Road. So Ibadan can now boast of 4 modern bus terminals supported by a state-backed transport system. And these buses, we've been subsidizing them since 2023. They've made mobility easier for workers, for traders, and for students. Not to talk of our elderly people, our people that are specially challenged. They all benefit from that subsidy. In September, we also completed phase 1 of the Ibadan International Airport upgrade project. Even though they played politics with us, convention, but convention till now they will have to open it. Today, Oyo State can receive wide-bodied aircraft. This is an achievement that opens our economy to global logistics, tourism, and investment opportunities. For those that do not know, Ibadan Airport was commissioned in 1982. And that is over 40-something years. 43 years. This is the first time that a wide-bodied aircraft in 43 years will land in Ibadan Airport. We have welcomed new investors and we have broken ground of the Oyo State Agribusiness Industrial Hub, Ijaye, building on the success of the Fashola model. Our 2025 performance strengthened fiscal resilience. We improved internally generated revenue through automation and efficiency without overburdening citizens with new taxes. I promised when I was campaigning 2018-2019 that there will be no new taxes in Oyo State. I'm happy to report we've improved our internally generated revenue with no new taxes. Businesses thrived. Workers were paid promptly. We had Liberty. May 29, 2019, that on the 25th of every month, workers will receive their salaries. Well, ọdún keje là ń lò lọ. So Oyo State has gone beyond ipe ìjọba kan dé wọn láwọn ò lè san salary kò possible mọ́ Oyo State. We have the template. And social services continued without disruption. These achievements made possible by the 2025 budget have stabilized our economy, created jobs, and expanded our base for sustainable growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members of the House, we stand at the threshold of a new chapter. The 2026 budget of economic expansion, totaling 891 billion 985,074,480 naira 79 kobo, 891,985,074,480.79 builds on the foundation of stability to drive productivity and inclusive growth. 502 billion 846 million 477,812 naira 85 kobo is dedicated to capital expenditure, while 389 billion 138 million 596,667 naira 94 kobo will go to recurrent expenditure. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this is another milestone budget. We are hedging closer to the ideal of 60-40 ratio between capital and recurrent expenditure. In this budget, capital expenditure stands at 56.37%, while recurrent expenditure is 43.63%. We will continue to prioritize sectors that directly expand our economy. The breakdown of this budget across our 4 key pillars is as follows. Infrastructure gets the highest allocation in keeping with our focus to spend more on capital expenditure. A total of 210 billion 25 million 443,802 naira 16 kobo is allocated to infrastructure projects. This represents 23.55% of the total budget. As I said a few months ago, our administration is focused on completing already awarded and ongoing projects to ensure that we do not leave projects unfinished at the end of our tenure. I also promised during my State of the State address in June this year that we will commence the rehabilitation of feeder roads in other zones, and of course, honorable members have raised it here. And I said, even Honorable Gwengo Yekola tried to bend my statement. I said we will start from Ogbomoso. I can report that the project is undergoing due process and should get to ESCO for approval within the next 2 weeks. So as I promised, you will see the contractor mobilized to site and move on with the Ogbomoso feeder roads. Education is the next with a total of 155,209,617,317 naira 20 kobo allocated to this important sector. As usual, we have ensured that the education sector was allocated 17.40% of the total education of the total budget, in keeping with our goal of meeting the UNESCO recommended 15 to 20% of our budget. So we're at 17%. We're ahead of the UNESCO recommendation. You will recall that at the beginning of the year, about 12,000 teachers resumed in our public primary and secondary schools to address the manpower deficit in that sector. This budget ensures that we can continue to cover the recurrent expenditure, while at the same time, it funds our plan to upgrade more education infrastructure across the state. Health gets a total of 70,849,163,558 naira 7 kobo. This represents 7.94% of the total budget. This past year, we have successfully completed 100 out of 106 primary healthcare centers being upgraded across the state, with the remaining 6 set to be completed by the end of this year. We plan to turn our attention to our secondary healthcare facilities to ensure that at least one in each zone is upgraded before the end of our tenure. So, Honorable PJ Ajedo, this is part of what you are agitating for. Agriculture has been allocated 19,987,210,324 naira 16 kobo, which represents 2.24% of the total budget. Well, this is not the full picture for the agriculture sector. Many of the infrastructure projects that drive that sector are captured under the infrastructure budget, under the infrastructure vote. Additionally, we have various public-private partnership and development partners funded projects which are ongoing across the state, such as Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, RAMP, the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, LPRES, and SAPZ, which I mentioned earlier. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, economic expansion means converting stability into opportunity. Linking infrastructure, human capital, and innovation. Our flagship projects are not isolated investments. They form an interconnected system designed to make Oyo State the business and logistics capital of the Southwest. We're not just building infrastructure, we're creating opportunities that will serve as a fulcrum for innovation and a modern first world economy. I don't know if all of us will internalize this, but next year, precisely 3rd of February, Oyo State will be 50, and we will celebrate and celebrate it very big. So we'll celebrate Oyo State at 50, and we'll celebrate our golden jubilee of vision. Our team will be renewal, a celebration of where we've come from and a recommitment to where we're going. So as we prepare to celebrate, let us remember that our greatest asset is not our roads, terminals, or factories. It is our people. The creativity of our youth, the diligence of our workers, and the resilience of our farmers are the engines of this expansion. Together we're writing a story. And this story, future generations will be proud to inherit that story. So let me once again speak to our fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters affected by the Rashidi Ladoja Circular Road development. I watched on social media, àwọn kan dín àkàrà, wọ́n ní àwọn dín àkàrà Seyi. Well, I have first. Let me say this. Ẹ má fi pé ẹnìkan lọ sí ọ̀run. Ẹ má fi yọ ẹ̀dá gbogbo wa là ń lọ. Wọ́n á dín àkàrà lẹ́yìn everybody gbogbo wa dábàá ó bílẹ̀ ni. Let me say this. I am not bothered. I'm not bothered because when I took up this job, because this, wọ́n bẹ̀ mí nílé pé wá jẹ governor Ọ̀yọ́ state. I came out pé mo fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan fún Ọ̀yọ́ state. Gbogbo àkàrà àti everything ṣe mo ti ṣí mọ́. We acknowledge that progress must be people-centered, and we remain committed to ensuring that development remains fair, humane, and inclusive. So, I will honor the promise that I made to visit, to listen, and to explore all possibilities, including resettlement, in addition to adequate compensation. And I will start this week. Wednesday, I will visit Olubadan. So, ẹ̀yin tó bá fẹ́ dín àkàrà, ẹ lọ dúró síbẹ̀ àjọ jẹ́ ni. The circular road is not just about connectivity. It is about equity, growth, and shared prosperity. I was forced to release from archive the documents to show adverts in Nigerian Tribune newspaper, taking those 500 meters by the right and left on November 21st, 2018. Seyi Makinde ti di governor in November 2018. But we are engaging with our people. Ibiti development party law beyond that place. I promised the people when they came under the bridge, DB, now Ibitabalo integrate, or we integrate them. And they also should know, for me at this point, I'm in a few months, maybe 18 months, I'll be out of here. So I've started our preparation for transition in 2027. Other players will be here. If they think, oh, maybe if we attack Seyi Makinde and politicize this thing, maybe they will vote for them. Oyo State people are wiser. And the next set of leaders, I can only prop them up, expose them, encourage them. Oyo State people will be the ultimate decider. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ wá sọ́yọ́ state láti rig wèrè láfíwò wèrè o. So our focus will shift towards institutional legacy, ensuring that governance is system-based, not personality-based. In Oyo State, thank God Justice Eniyesan is here, Justice Aderemi is here. They are part of the institutions we are creating. Oyaka, rule of law, enforcement authority. We don't want strong men in Oyo State. We want strong institutions. So we will continue to strengthen our civil service, digitize government processes, and entrench transparency as the standard for leadership. Our legacy will not be measured by buildings alone, but by the values that sustain progress long after we've left the stage. And so to the resilient people of Oyo State, let me again use this opportunity to say thank you to you. This is the final full-year budget that I will implement. Next year's budget will only implement up to May 29. New leaders will come and they will implement the rest. But I've enjoyed this past almost 7 years. I've enjoyed the support of the generosity of Oyo State people. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. And for some of you, tẹ́ ń fi mí gbàdúrà, ẹ̀yin náà fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ ti yín náà. Láì ní Godfather, but with God the Father. Kó ṣe nǹkan rere fún ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àdúrà yín á gbà o. Let me also thank you, the Oyo State people. Yeah, because we operated in a very difficult economic environment. And people talk about governors defecting. Àwọn guy not defecting lọ bá wọn bẹ̀. Even in hardship, your faith and patience have kept us moving forward. So má jẹ́ kí anybody tàn yín jẹ. This is your government. I'm accountable only to you, the people of Oyo State, not to anyone else. So this is your government, and this next phase of economic expansion is for you. Also, circular road, this and all of that. We need industries. Our children are coming out of school. We need commercial solid minerals exploration near your state. Yeah, people talk about governors or states are not getting XYZ billions in federal allocation. The increase, did it come from being productive? Well, your state is moving from a consumptive economy now to a productive one. So if we're here in front of you saying, look, let us do this together, it is because we know Oyo State can stand on its own and be productive, and true to our name as the pace setter, we can set the pace for them. We have not failed you in over 6 years. And we will not fail you now. You have stood firm through difficult times. You've trusted the process and believe in the vision. You've demonstrated beyond what I can even fathom. I remember the terminal at our commission 2 weeks ago. Mo lọ worship near Adogba Mosque. And after the worship, I told them, we have to demolish the mosque. But I volunteered to build a new one in return. But, of course, there's a gap between when we demolish and when the new one will come into play. In between that gap, they kept saying, no, try to stir up religious sentiment. But àwọn tó gbé story yẹn tó ń lọ sí Ṣakí, pure water àwọn fi lé wọn kúrò ń bẹ̀. They didn't listen to them. Because Oyo State people, they have stood firm by this administration through difficult times, and they believed in the vision. We're not a government